Welcome back to Indianomics. We've been speaking with Dr. Arvind Panagariya, the well-known international trade economist from Columbia University, also chairman of the 16th Finance Commission. But this one is all on international trade and tariffs that the US is threatening to impose. Dr. Panagariya, thank you very much for staying on. Now, we were talking about the WTO and how it doesn't allow differential tariffs. So now with President Trump asking for special tariffs, lower tariffs, is there a danger that WTO itself, the system may break down if Trump demands different tariffs?
No, I mean, look, some of it has already happened because the US tariffs on China and Chinese tariffs on US, these are clearly in violation. Under normal circumstances, they would have been challenged in the WTO. But right now you can challenge, but challenge is still possible, but it can't go beyond the ruling by the panel, which is not final, because if the aggrieved party says that I want to appeal it, then it has to have that process available, but that process is not there. And so it's already happening. In a way, if you think about it, the sanctions on Russia were also unilateral. They were also discriminatory, but there is no recourse.
Okay, so maybe countries will behave themselves simply because it is in everyone's, beneficial interest. Okay, let me come to another angle. Will these tariffs not increase inflation in the US, and therefore won't it create popular pressure in the US against higher tariffs?
So this is all, still at a speculative level, because President Trump is also doing many other things, right? Among them, most prominently, a lot of spending is being cut. Now, that is going to be anti-inflationary. And so what is the net effect? We don't know. So this is all complicated. Also, remember that while tariffs increase the prices of the imported goods, to the extent that that also means reduced exports, because now you don't have to pay for as many, so therefore, reduction in tariffs also, reduction in imports also, in an indirect way, leads to or results in a reduction in exports. Well, that is going to lower the prices of the exportable goods. And how the two ultimately combine to generate overall price increase or reduction would depend on various elasticities and how much the export prices fall and how much the import prices rise.
Well, that's very right, sir. We can't think of it as ceteris paribus, other things being equal. This is a general equilibrium way of looking at the economy. Another very specific worry for us, what about our services, our IT exports? Will they be spared or will they also be taxed?
President Trump is talking mostly in terms of tariffs. And obviously in his mind, there is also a revenue objective, because he wants to also do something to the income tax in the United States. So he believes, that the US till 1911 really had no income tax and revenues all came from tariffs. Okay. And so in some ways, he also talked about this external revenue service, right? Instead of IRS, with internal revenue service, is the ERS, external revenue service, so focusing on tariff as the source of revenue. So from everything that he has said so far, it seems to me that this is about restrictions being imposed on merchandise imports. Most likely services are not on the table yet. Certainly right now they are not. And that would also be consistent with the fact that the president is interested in revenue.
That's a very big relief, because now our services exports are becoming more than our goods, our merchandise exports. So that's a big relief. Now, let me come to an Indian point of view, since political economy of India is your specialization. How do you see the growth headwinds impacting Indian economy, India's GDP in FY26? Will we even make it to that 6.5% GDP target, which everyone's talking about?
Well, 6.5, I think we'll get there. You're talking of FY26. Okay, not 25. No, we'll get 6.5, maybe even 7. Look, right now, even for the FY25, we don't have the full data, and we are just talking about on the basis of mostly the first half
Yes.
of the year. So one needs to wait and see. But headwinds are there, and I think we do need to take some actions on economic reforms because our experience for the past 30 years has been that you undertake certain reforms, growth accelerates, but then at some point you begin to see some slowdown. You have to do more reforms, and that process has continued. And I think we will need to go back and see, what more reforms can be done. The budget has done something. I see some pretty good positives there. Clearly, the income tax reform that I'd been talking about is almost done now,
Yes.
because in effect, that reform requires cleaning up of the exemptions. And now that most of the taxpayers anyway are going to be filing under this alternative tax schedule, I think that it will basically clean up all the exemption raj.
Yeah, of course, the new direct tax code is about to be passed. But separately said, the budget gave us tax cuts. Then the Reserve Bank gave us a rate cut. We are all hoping for a consumption-led growth. But given the global headwinds, the tariff headwinds, do you think growth will suffer?
It depends on how we handle, what the negotiations comes through. Suppose that the negotiation results in actually India liberalizing and United States liberalizing for Indian products. Well, that's a win-win. That would actually add to growth, not subtract from it.
Yes.
So much will depend on how this negotiation pans out.
Okay, a point taken, Dr. Panagariya. On that positive note, let's wind this conversation that we probably will have positive conversations with the United States, and it will be a general lowering of tariffs for everyone, and hence, better productivity for both economies. And therefore, growth will not suffer. Thank you very much, Dr. Panagariya, for joining and explaining so many nuances to us. Well, that's it on this edition of Indianomics, a very special edition. Thank you very much for watching.